Hello and welcome to a beginner's crash course to family history in order to find family names. My name is Chloe Kincaid and I will be taking you on this journey today. So this is the FamilySearch website. Super easy to get to. You just open up the internet browser of your choice, type in familysearch.org, hit enter. First thing you're going to do is sign in. When you click the sign in, it will ask you for your username and password. This username and password that it's asking for is your church account. If you've ever signed into Gospel Library or LDS.org, this will be the same username and password that you use for that. But if you've never done that before, you'll have to set up an LDS account, and you'll need your membership record number for that, which you can get from your bishop. So after you're signed in, you can go to your family tree. This is my family tree. So the way that it's set up is there's me, my parents, my dad's parents, and my mom's parents. And if you want to move it around, you can just click and drag anywhere or open up extra branches with these little arrows. Here's another view is fan chart. You click on this up here, and here's a fan chart. So the way that this set it up is kind of color coordinated. So my dad's side is cool colors. His dad's side is green, and his dad's side is blue, his mom's side is green. My mother's side is warm colors. So her dad's side is red and her mom's side is yellow. And that is how that works. But going back to the tree view. The tree view is good because you can see all these symbols on it. And these can be very useful if you're searching for people to reserve and find family names for. So this is what all the symbols mean. First, let's walk through the temples. A green temple means that the person's profile has all the information it needs and doesn't have the ordinances ready yet. These are rare to find in the wild because if someone did all the work to research and find all the information about a person in order to take them to the temple, they'd probably take them to the temple. They wouldn't do all the research and then just leave them behind. This is one of the reasons that you'll often hear people complain that, oh, I can't find anyone to reserve. Well, that's because they're just looking for green temples. And good family history work takes a little bit more digging than just looking for the work someone else didn't do and left behind. So, much more common is the yellow temple. This means that the person's ordinances are not done, but they don't have enough information to be reserved yet. In order to be reserved and take into the temple for ordinances, the person needs a name, a date somewhere, like a birth date or death date, or they need a place, and they need a place, like birthplace or death place or marriage place. So you need a name, a date, and a place. Also, the yellow temple can come up even if someone has all those things, if there's some kind of error with the profile. So next is the blue temples. The blue temples mean that someone else has reserved it and is working on it right then. No temple means available ordinances are already done. So this appears if someone has all their work done. It also appears in another situation. So let's say that I lived 100 years ago and had a husband and then died, and someone came and found me and did all my work, except they didn't know that I was ever married. So I wasn't attached to any husband on my profile, and I was never sealed to my spouse. So it would show no temple because everything was done, because it didn't know that I was ever married. So just because FamilySearch says everything's done doesn't mean everyone's been sealed to their spouses and parents. Another symbol that you'll see a lot is this angry red exclamation mark. Its official title is that it warns of possible data problems. Here's some possible data problems that I've seen before. The birth and death dates are incorrectly formatted. So FamilySearch likes their dates in a very certain way. It likes it number, month, year. So 15 March 1972. If you put March 15th, 1972, sometimes FamilySearch will just give you error messages because it doesn't know how to handle it. Another thing that is a common error is that places are incorrectly formatted, like it doesn't know what to do with a city name or a county name. Sometimes just the years are totally off, like the marriage year is before their birthday, or they're born before their parents are born, or they're married before the age of 15. So yes, that's not always technically a problem, but it's rare enough that it'll come up as a data problem. Or they're born in 2 different months. That gave me quite a puzzle when I found that one. So another thing is this purple signpost symbol. This is research suggestions. So this is just FamilySearch suggesting that the profile might need more research done to it. So if you click on it, it gives you more information that looks something like this. It could be the person's missing the birth and death years. There's no sources attached to them. There's a possible missing child. The person may have children. So this is just stuff that FamilySearch is suggesting you might do to make a profile more complete. This is maybe the most useful symbol of all, the blue name tag. This is the record hints. The way that record hints come about is a little bit of a long story, so take this journey with me. Somewhere in a library in Washington, D.C., they have a historical record. They scan in this historical record and send it to FamilySearch. FamilySearch then has a picture of this historical record. Then FamilySearch gives this picture to some indexers. The indexers type in the information on the record into the computer. Then there's a computerized record. Then the computer reads the record and says, hey, this record is about George Washington Harris, born around this time and around this place. There's a profile that matches that. So then the computer pops up on that profile as a record hint. So this is super useful because if you need more information about a person and they have record hints, well, that just might be a historical record waiting to be attached. So back here, let's say you have found Green Temple or created a Green Temple through your hard research work. So what you'll do is you'll click on it. Then it'll bring up a thing like this. What you are looking for is something with this shade of green, the shade that's this bar or the temple, because that shade means that it is ready to be reserved and ready to be done. So grayed out means it's already done. Dark green means something else, so we're not going to pay attention to that. So neither George, the husband, or Elizabeth, the wife, has anything to be reserved. So it might be one of their children, which also appear down here. So you'll scroll down, and look, a bunch of their children have ordinances ready to be done. So let's say you wanted to do Helen's. So what you can do is you can go to the children, and it'll pop down, and then you click on Helen, right? So Helen's card comes up. This card comes up whenever you touch on anyone's name in FamilySearch, so it's important to be familiar with it. The way that it works is up top, you have the name, and then you have the ID number. The ID number, everyone has their own individual unique ID number. This is super useful in this way. If, let's say, you were doing a research project with Helen Maddox here, and you were stopping and then you were planning to come back to it next week, you could copy down her ID number, and then when you wanted to come back to her, you can go to Find, type in the ID number, and it will pull her straight up. So underneath that, you've got birth and death info, sources, memories, and discussions. She doesn't have any, so it's 000, and then the temple stuff. So the way that this reads is baptism, confirmation, endowment, or initiatory endowment, sealing to parents, sealing to spouse. So this green means all not done yet. Sealing to spouse with the white and dotted lines right here, it means that she doesn't have a spouse's profile connected to her. So it's not available. So if you want to pull up her page, you can either click on the link name up here or person. It'll bring you to the same place. So next, this is a person's page. As you can see, it is super long. This is 3 different computer screens just shoved against each other. So let's see what's inside a profile. Up top, you've got the person's name, their birthday, death date, stuff like that. Underneath that, you've got the vital information, name, birthday, death date, stuff like that. Underneath that is other details. Here you'll have alternate names, like nicknames, or you'll have residence, times they served in the army, things like that. Underneath that, you've got family info. Here on the left column, you have them, their spouse, and all their kids. So here's him, the husband, bolded. On the right, parents and siblings, you'll have dad, mom, them and all their siblings. So here's him at the bottom, the last child. Underneath that, you have sources. These are historical documents that are attached to the person's profile. Underneath that, you've got discussions and notes. FamilySearch works a lot like Wikipedia. So if I changed something and you went onto the same page that I was just on, you would see my change. We see the same screen. So you can add a discussion or add a note, and then other people can see it and discuss with you or see your note. And that's a good way to communicate with other people working on the same project or something. Over here, research help. At the top you'll have the data problems, and if you click on any of these blue links, it'll give you more information about that particular one. Underneath that, you've got record hints. Again, you can click on it, it'll give you more information, and research suggestions. Then you've got search records and print. So if you wanted to print out their family tree or something, you can go there. Underneath that, you've got latest changes. So if you want to see changes people have made or yourself have made to the profile, you can go there, or tools. So you can go to possible duplicates, report abuse, and occasionally delete person will be available. So let's say you've gotten to the page of the person that has the green temple, needs ordinances to be done. Here's what you do. You click on ordinances next to the green temple. It'll bring up a page like this. This particular person has everything done except sealing to parents. So how would you request that? You click request. Then you click request again. It brings up a page like this. This is the church policy, and this tells you who you can reserve and not reserve. This is the gist of it. You can reserve people who are your ancestors or the descendants of your ancestors. So, if you are reserving someone that was born within 110 years, so right now, 1907 or later in time, you would need permission from a close relative, like parents, spouses, siblings, things like that. If someone was born before 110 years ago, which is right now 1907, then you do not need permission. Because you can do both ancestors and descendants of your ancestors, as long as you can prove some sort of relation, you can pretty much do anyone that was born before 110 years ago. So after you've read through this policy, you can scroll down and click the box that says, I have read and will comply with the Church Temple Ordinance Policy. Add to Temple Ordinance List, and then it will go up into your Temple tab. So let's say it's a few days before you're planning on going to the temple and it's time to print out those cards. So where you'll go is your Temple tab. Then you will check the boxes of the people you want to print out. Then click Print. It'll pull up this little menu and you'll click Print Family Ordinance Cards. Then here. You are selecting the ordinances you would like to print. There are two ways to go about this. You can check everything and get a card that has baptism, confirmation, initiatory, endowment, sealing to parents. It'll have everything and you'll have that. Or if you're just going on a baptism trip and you're just planning on doing baptism, confirmation, you can deselect everything else. There are pros and cons to both these ways. The pro to only printing out the card that you are going to use on that particular trip is that afterwards you don't have to worry about getting the card back. And when you're going on the next trip, you can just print out the next ordinances. The pro of printing out them all at once, you only have to print it out once. I fully recommend only printing out the ordinances that you need to do that time because it makes it easier to keep track of what you need to do yet. So, then you click Continue, and that'll bring you to a print screen and you can print the cards out. You do not have to worry about doing it on pink or blue paper. White is just fine. You will take those cards to the temple, and then afterwards, this is a frequently asked question, people wonder, what do I need to do to make it so it says it's done in FamilySearch? You do not need to do anything. At the temple, after you've done the ordinance, a temple worker will take the card. On every card is a barcode. They will scan the barcode. It will automatically update in the computer. Then, at the end of the baptism trip, they often give you the cards back. This is in case you had other ordinances that were not yet done and you wanted to keep using the card. So this is a good way. If you just print out the ordinances you're going to use, you don't need to worry about getting the cards back. So let's say you have reserved all these green temples, you've gone through, you've done the easy stuff, now you need something more. So you'll look for yellow temples. Yellow temples, remember, are things where the ordinances are not yet done, but the profile doesn't have enough information to complete the ordinance. So what you'll do is you'll click on the temple, and it will tell you who needs more information. Let's say it's William. So you will click on William and open up his page. So once you have William's page open, you'll go to the ordinances. Here it will tell you what the problem is. Here is the problem. Needs more information. This person's record needs a standardized place in birth, christening, death, burial, cremation, or marriage event. So you just need a place that he lived, a place that he was, a place that he did something, somewhere. So how do you find information like that? Well, one way is the record hints. It's right here on a profile, and it looks like this, the blue name tag icon. So if you click on it, it brings up a thing like this. So here is the record's information, and here is the person's information, so you can compare them. And here it matches. They're both Freddie, they're both born 5th of January, here's the place, there's the father and mother name, and you could go check that. So it matches, you click review and attach. That'll bring you up to this attach records page. On the left here is the historical record. On the right is the FamilySearch profile. So this is what you'll do. You know it matches, it's the same person, so you will add the information that the record has. This record has the information of a place that he lived, his residence, because it's a census record. So you'll add and it will slide over. Then you will type in your reason to attach the source. For example, you could say that they have the same name, same birth date, birthplace, and family members, and you click attach. This record also has family members on it because it's a census record, so it records the entire family. So you can also, while you're at it, attach to the family members too. So the way you would do that, you click compare, it'll bring up a page that looks exactly like this, and you do it for the rest. A thing to note about censuses. A frequently asked question I get is, my census birth year doesn't match my person's birth year. And that's okay, because census birth years are often a year off through complicated question and historical things. So another issue you might encounter is that you go to reserve something and it says possible duplicates may exist. So this is how you fix that. You go to the possible duplicates tool. On a person's page, it'll be right here. So you click on it, it'll bring up a thing like this. On the top is the person's info. See, this person has a nice photo. Got his birth, death, parents, spouse. Here is another person's profile. FamilySearch doesn't want people with multiple profiles because then they'd be getting ordinances multiple times. So if there's 2 profiles for the same person, they want you to merge them. So that's what you would do here. So you click review merge. It'll bring up a page like this. On the left is one profile. On the right is another profile. See, they have 2 different ID numbers. What you will do is you'll keep the information that is more specific. So here they match. It doesn't matter if you replace or reject it. Here, 1743 versus about 1743. So the one on the left is more specific. You would click reject for this one. So you go through and you decide which version of the person's life facts you would reject or accept, keep, or delete.